name, yeah, your the Zoom name, especially for those who still using the device name. Okay, Mr. Wanti, to please to turn off.
Besok, Bu.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Miss Wanti. Yeah. Okay. It's almost 8 o'clock. So this international seminar, the team's shaping school and culture, will be held for the 8 o'clock, and then Miss Ayu will lead this seminar. So I will give this time for.
Okay, thank you, Miss Yanti. Yeah, okay, good morning all. So we are going to start our seminar. First, the Honorable Executive Board Head of Strada Association, Father Josephus Ageng Marwoto, Director of Strada Association, Father Bay Witono, the keynote speakers and moderator, Deputy Director, Branch Head, and Head of Divisions, supervisors, staff, principals, vice principals, teachers, and students of Strada Association. Fathers, brothers, sisters, ladies and gentlemen, all respected participants coming from various countries, Indonesia, Japan, Germany, Singapore, Thailand, and Australia. With great gratitude, I would like to say thank you and welcome to the International Seminar of Strada Association. On this occasion, the International Seminar raised an interesting theme. It is shaping school culture. We know that each school has its distinctive quality to be implemented and developed. This quality shapes as we call as school culture. And this culture reflects how all members interact and react to what is going on inside the school. And in line with the vision of Strada Association, education community in excellency, caring, and spirit to serve, we are willing to give our best provision to our children by improving and enlightening principals and teachers' competency. Thus, we conduct this international seminar. To strive for the vision and mission of the school, of course, we all need a deeper understanding about school culture. Yeah, the honorable presenters and participants, before starting the seminar, let me read the schedule for today's event. So first, it will be opened by having an opening prayer. Second is our 3-hour discussion with 2 keynote speakers. First, we have Father Albert Alejo from Ateneo de Manila University, Filipina. Good morning, Father Albert. And then the second one, we have Father JOJO from the East Asian Pastoral Institute and the Loyola School of Theology, Manila. Good morning, Father JOJO. Yeah, okay, then it will be continued with question and answer session. And the last, the international seminar will be ended at 11 Western Indonesian time by having a prayer. And before we begin the international seminar of Strada Association, let me read this seminar. 1. International seminar participants must behave politely. 2. Participants who are joining us on Zoom meeting, please kindly mute your microphone during the session. And you can unmute your microphone when you are allowed to ask questions in question and answer session. 3. For participants who haven't got opportunities to ask questions directly, you can post your questions in the Zoom chat room if you are joining us from Zoom. Or you can write down your questions in the YouTube comment box if you are joining us from YouTube. And the last one, we really hope that all participants join our event till the end, since there will be an door prize for some lucky participants. Okay, dear our honorable participants, let's begin this international seminar with a prayer. The prayer will be done in Catholic. For those who have another beliefs, please support in your own way. To Miss Yanti, please kindly lead the prayer.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Miss Ayu. Yeah, for all the participants, let us prepare our heart and mind for prayers. In the Catholic, for participants who have another belief, we sincerely want you to adjust. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Present gratitude, pray for your love and help so we can gather in this international seminar of Strada Association. Please bless us. Please bless the keynote speakers and also all the activities today so we can learn, share, and gain the knowledge. Hopefully, the seminar can run well as to create an excellent culture in our school. Our Father who art in heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Yanti, for the prayer. Now we are going to have a speech from the director of Strada Association. Let's listen to Father Odemus Baby Tono's speech. To Father Odemus Baby Tono, please kindly take your time.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Ayu. I want to say something. A special moment for this time. The Father JOJO FUNG, hello, participant, good morning. The national seminar is actually of a week of activities held by the Strada Association. We, the members of Strada Association, feel grateful and happy that various cultural activities can still be made in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Ladies and gentlemen, this Strada International Seminar was created to remind us all about the importance of school culture in primary and secondary education life. It takes collective awareness to build a productive, valuable, and dignified school culture. Hopefully, the Strada International Seminar can help finding ways to develop cultural aspect in our school organization environment. The seminar was inspired by the book Shaping School Culture by Terence Gill and Ken Patterson. Shaping School Culture is a classic guide to exceptional school leadership, featuring concrete guidelines for influencing the subtle symbolic features of the school that impart meaning, belief, and faith. Written by a renowned expert in the field of school culture, this seminar addressed the increasing challenges facing public school or maybe also private schools and provide clear and honest advice for more effective symbolic leadership. The past few years have rocked the national school system with a number of the new developments that pose problems for the tapestry of school culture. This seminar provides expert and thoughtful perspectives, advice that can be made for administrators, who are prone to facing external pressures while maintaining or developing a more positive school culture. There are 4 items, our focus for this seminar, to realize navigating new challenges, including the success of each student, fading confidence and conviction, reverse toxic school culture with faith and success, foster a culture of passion, purpose, and meaning, and the last, adopting a more active form of symbolic leadership to support student, faculty, staff, parent, and the community shaping school culture, map a road through competitive process to help education leaders create with effective leadership, which then permits and encourage positive change throughout the school. This is because effective leadership affects everyone who works for the school and each of the staff members indirectly or indirectly responsible for student learning. Therefore, for leadership and school culture to be successful, it requires everyone involved, facilitating educational experiences that match student interest, innate desire for creativity, and need for play. Teaching staff, administrative, and support staff must work collaboratively to create learning experiences that will bring significant value to students. Thus, we make this welcome. Hopefully, the seminar can run well according to common expectation. Greetings of our joy to all us. Thank you very much, especially for Father JOJO FUNG and Father Alejo, and for all participants. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Father Odemus Bevitono, who has delivered an opening speech for this event. Yeah, as Father Bay said before, that we really hope that this seminar will help us to be able to improve better culture in our schools. Yeah, because as we know, leaders are born from schools. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now moving on to the next session, the main point of this event, that will be moderated by Mr. Ega Meistapurba. Mr. Ega Meistapurba is an English teacher of Strada Bhaktiwiyata Senior High School. Hello, Mr. Ega.
Hello, Miss Ayu.
Okay, Mr. Ega, I think that it is now your turn. The time is yours, Mr. Ega.
Okay, I'll take my time. Thank you, Miss Ayu. Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, thank
Good
you
morning.
thank you, Strada, for giving me the chance to lead this seminar today. It's my honor for being here to guide you in this international seminar. Okay, after this, we will start the seminar. But before we start the seminar with our speakers today, let me repeat some agreement first. The agreements are about: please make sure to turn off your Zoom microphone. Keep your question until the time we have Q&A session. And please write down the questions in the chat box. So do with those who are in YouTube. Don't forget to fill the evaluation sheet that will be shared in the chat box, and also the attendance list. And due to the certificate, please fill the attendance list too. It will be shared in the chat box later. Okay, thank you for the attention for our agreements. Now, before we start the Shaping School Culture seminar, let me introduce you our first speaker. He is a Jesuit. He lives in Philippines and also a lecturer in Ateneo de Manila University. He is Father Albert Alejo, Jesuits, Ph.D. Okay. Father Albert Alejo is a Jesuit priest and poet, anthropologist, and activist. The works of Perlinberg reveal his engagement in social and political issues, cultural analysis, and the development of philosophy and theology based on real life. His publications include Generating Energies in Mount Apo, Cultural Politics in a Contest Environment, and Ejemplo, the spirituality of shared integrity in Philippine church and society, and 3 anthologies poems in his native language Tagalog. He did his PhD anthropology at the University of London and is now a member of faculty at the Department of Sociology and Anthropology at Ateneo, the Manila University. Okay, please welcome Pater Albert Alejo. Good morning, Pater Albert. Good morning, Pater Albert.
Oh, good morning. Salamat pagi.
Okay. Magandang umaga po.
Magandang umaga po. Sakit hati ko. Di sini.
Okay, Pater Albert.
Now,
I think you are ready
thank
enough.
you for the invitation. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Take your time, Pater.
Yeah. So thank you for the invitation. I'm not sure whether what I will present will be useful, but maybe you can get something. Now, you are taking off from the book Shaping School Culture, and I'm sure you have a copy of that, and you can read the whole thing. It's a very good book, as I can see it. But my contribution now is just an invitation to understand that third word there, culture. Because maybe you will have other seminars, particularly applying the book to the school administration. But what I'm going to do is to invite you to unpack the meaning of culture. Take note for the Catholics, we are enriched by the recent encyclical of the Pope, Fratelli Tutti, on fraternity and social friendship. If we are running schools, the schools should be a school for openness, a school for friendship, social friendship. And part of that is openness to different cultures, as exemplified by Saint Francis of Assisi, who went out of his way to meet the leader of the Muslims during the time. And now Pope Francis went out of his way to also make friends with the Grand Imam Ahmad al-Tayyib. And aside from the Muslims, the Pope was also inspired by non-Catholics in the very encyclical spiritual writing of the Pope. He admits of having been influenced by people from other faiths, from other denominations, from other religions, like Martin Luther King, like Desmond Tutu, like Mahatma Gandhi, no? And actually, he also learns from the Orthodox. And so, precisely in this book, the encyclical Fratelli Tutti, we can learn to have our disposition of openness to other people, to other cultures, making friends with them. And I think the challenge of our schools in today's world, and especially in the future, will be an encounter with diversity. And so we may need to learn authentic social dialogue, which involves the ability to respect the other's point of view and to admit that it may include legitimate convictions and concerns. When individuals or groups have their own culture, when individuals or groups have their own ways of thinking, their ethos, they defend their values and convictions and develop their arguments. Instead of saying this is conflict, we can say this is diversity. And we may need to learn how to accept and be enriched by this diversity. But this can only happen if we know our culture and they know their culture, and both of us would be open to exchanging. Even if we are the dominant culture here or the minority culture, we need dialogue. Even if we own the schools, we have our own identity and culture and ethos, we also need to be open to others. Now, if we are the minority, we need to adjust also to other cultures and other points of view. And so there are so many things that can be discussed but this presentation is just to help us, to invite us to rethink our imagination, our notion, our understanding of the word culture. Now, we study culture immediately within diversity. We cannot study culture as if there are no other cultures. Immediately, we place the study of culture within cultural diversity. And if there are different cultures, we should also have a variety of understanding culture. Now, let's start with this. What is our common understanding of culture? Usually, and even the Jesuits document say this, culture means the way in which a group of people live, think, feel, organize themselves, celebrate, and share life. In every culture, there are underlying systems of values, meanings, and views of the world, which are expressed visibly in language, gestures, symbols, rituals, and styles. Take note, culture is that whole way of life, and it is shared by a people. And these people, composed of individuals, somehow think the same. They live a similar way of life. They cry for the same hurts, and they laugh at the same jokes. They organize themselves. They have common rituals that they celebrate. And if there are disasters, they know what to do. In every culture, there are underlying systems of values. So culture is layered. There are things that you see, and there are things that you feel underneath, like values, like meanings and views of the world. But these underlying meanings and values express out, they manifest in things that can be seen, can be heard, can be tasted, like food, like dress, like rituals and styles of speaking. And so, well, that's a whole notion of an ordinary notion of culture. But just take note, culture here is singular. So it talks about culture that is singular, and we will unpack that later. If that is the meaning of culture, and probably that is our common meaning of culture, then it means total way of life. It is learned, not genetically inherited. You can be brown, and you can speak French if you happen to uh, be born in France, with underlying meanings, values. We have shared that. And this life, way of life, and these shared meanings are shared by members of the community. They are outwardly expressed through signs, symbols, long hair, short hair, braided hair, uh, makeup, rituals, time element, and artifacts, tools, architecture, and everything is in relation to the environment. If the place is very cold, then the dress becomes very thick, etc. But I would like to add leadership styles and structures. If that is our notion of culture, then every culture has all these things. Okay. Now, sometimes you have what you call subculture. For example, you have the subculture of the young people, the subculture of the gay and lesbians, the subculture of the Catholics, the subculture of uh, the the techies. But again, it's just a smaller culture with the total way of life, a common language, and shared by the community, etc. Now, if that is the meaning of culture, then what is the meaning of cultural diversity? Diversity in culture. Normally, it means that you expect Chinese culture to be lived out in China, Irish drinking in Ireland, Filipino time in the Philippines. So, as they say, when you are in Rome, do as the Romans do. Okay? So, if every people has culture and every people has a territory of their own, then you would expect that every region would have its own culture, and every culture can be identified with a particular region, a particular group of people. Okay. Now, but is it really true that Chinese culture is only in China? No. You have acupuncture everywhere. You have Irish drinking even in Indonesia. So it's not always true that one nation equals one culture, especially if you equate one nation with one state. Now, Indonesia alone has about 400 languages or more. And when you say Indonesian, well, they're not exactly the same, right? The culture in Sarawak, in Jakarta would be different. There would be some difference. And so probably we need to challenge that ordinary notion of culture. It's not fixed. So what could be an alternative meaning of culture leading to an alternative meaning of diversity of culture? By the way, I'm explaining this so that when you go back to the book, uh, A Society Shaping Culture, and the first chapter there is Elements of Culture, maybe we will have a better appreciation of these things. So what would be an alternative meaning of culture? It is a pattern of meanings. Yes, there is a pattern encased in a network of symbols, myths, narratives, and rituals. Yes, you still have symbols, you still have narratives, you still have rituals, but these are now created by individuals and subdivisions and subcultures. Oh, now, before everything was shared by all, but now you have creative individuals and sometimes leaders who introduce a change in the culture from within. And how do they do this? When do they do this? As they struggle to respond to the competitive pressures of power, or power now is mentioned, to the competitive pressures of power and limited resources in a rapidly globalizing and fragmenting world, and instructing its adherents about what is considered to be the correct way to feel, think, and behave. See, you still have behavior, you still have rituals, you still have symbols, you still have meanings and patterns, but they are not fixed. There could be individuals who are very creative, you know, in a very in a very conservative, so-called conservative community. Maybe one girl would initiate wearing miniskirts, and at the risk of being ridiculed. But then slowly, it picks up, and many other girls would respond. And then all of a sudden, uh, it becomes a new part of the same culture but different. So there could be change even within. There could be change even within. Now, why? Because the culture is responding to the pressures of power, militarization, coming in of big multinational companies and technologies, also limited resources in a world that keeps on moving, fragmenting, uniting, etc. So later on, you might develop a Zoom culture. You might develop a Zoom culture, right? Yes, or Zoom friends, just as you have Facebook friends. Okay. Now, if that is an alternative meaning of the culture, then maybe we can also consider alternative meanings of cultural diversity. There could be one, internal complexity. So cultural diversity as meaning internal complexity of the so-called local culture. Meaning, in one nation state, there could be many tribes. In one school, there could be different enrollees. You may have a Catholic or Christian schools, but among the students, there could be Muslims and even Buddhists and indigenous peoples. And so when you say the culture of our school, that culture cannot be so fixed as to discriminate against the internal diversity and complexity of the school as it is now happening. Second, you also have the phenomenon of hyphenated identities. For example, you have American Muslims living in England. What? A few years ago, they asked me to be the conference director of the first Asian Bishops Ulama Conference. And I got to know Japanese Muslims. Japanese Muslims. Yes. Oh, I didn't realize there are Muslims in Japan, but there are also in China. And you may even have sons and daughters of a French father and an Indonesian mother. So they can have hyphenated ethnicities. Multi-ethnic countries. For example, Malaysia is very multi-ethnic, Indonesia as well, South Africa. So we cannot equate culture equals state. Multiple role and identity. I had a student in Mindanao, a Korean Christian Protestant missionary hoping to convert the Muslims in Mindanao. And you have gender difference, of course. Some priests are gay, working for human rights. So there are internal complexity even within what you call the same culture. Okay, so now we are loosening up somehow our notion of culture and therefore notion of cultural diversity. And therefore, we need to be warned. We need to have new guidelines in double checking our concepts. Why? Because cultures are not always whole. What? In a few minutes ago, we said culture is a whole way of life. But we realize that the real situation is that cultures are not always whole. Sometimes you feel wholeness, but many times there are fragments. There are elements that are not connected to the whole. Number two, you cannot equate culture equals nation equals state. That's why governments are in difficult situation. They want unity by developing united culture, but you cannot force it. Some people, some tribes would like to assert their self-determination, and they would like to have their own system of education. Now, number three, symbols do not always carry the same meanings. If you ask, what is the meaning of the Eucharist, the Mass? What is the meaning of a hijab? Well, sometimes because of age difference, a young a young Catholic would have a different appreciation for the host, for the Eucharist. And so take note, symbols have official meanings, but the people, different kinds of people in different situations, may not always attach the same official meaning to the same symbol. Members of the same cultural community may not always share same interpretation of reality. Sometimes you have a very solemn ritual going on here, and yet some of the members of the same tribe could be playing basketball. They are not as, solemn. Why? Maybe because they are in a different temporary situation. So can we loosen up a bit? So it's a tension. We want to develop our own culture, identity. At the same time, we also appreciate complexity, both diversity outside and complexity inside. All right? Now, coupled with that is the different notions of society. When I was in elementary, whenever my teacher would say society, he would mean community, and he would draw a circle on the board, a circle. So that is a community composed of individuals and families who are bonded together. They feel the same, and they care for each other. Then in high school, I got to know some Marxist and communist activists, and they said, no, society is not a circle, it is a pyramid. And there are layers. Below would be the oppressed working class. On the top tip would be the oppressor, the super rich. And in between would be the middle class. And there is conflict between the classes. In some areas, you have castes rather than class. And so society, according to this imaging, is pyramidal rather than circular. Now, later on, with the development of democratic institutions, you have NGOs and different kinds of social movements. Society now is seen as sectoral. So you have the women's sector, you have ethnic groups, you have religious groups, you have ideological groups, you even have a chess association, kite flying association, origami association, and you have different groupings. Sometimes a person would belong to a Catholic religion or Islamic religion, but would also be part of a chess association or computer science association and playing video games with somebody from Argentina. So different sectors. Now, with the development of internet, society now is not just one circle, not just a pyramidal, not just composed of different circles, but different nodes. It's a network and a network of network. You could be in one part of Indonesia, but you have membership in an academic institution in Europe, and you can be playing basketball or volleyball in a different groups. Okay, so your mailing list is different from your Facebook list and different from your Twitter list, right? You have different. Now, but as an analytical tool, we also recognize that not everything is on the surface. There is this notion of culture, despite the variety and network and variations, there is also some kind of underlying hidden meanings. And the image is an iceberg. On top of the water, you see only the tip, but underneath the tip of the iceberg is a bigger rock formation. And cultures are said to be similar. You have events, rituals, you have patterns of relationships, respect for the elders, respect for religious leaders, systemic structure, class structure, and then mental models. Okay, now, so when you say culture, or for example, when you say we would like to be multicultural in our school, you might be referring to decorations or putting batik here and there, but you can still be discriminatory of other groups because deep within you have biases, mental models of the other. And so with events, what do? You react. With pattern, you can anticipate. But if you analyze the systemic structures, you can design and redesign. With mental models, you need to campaign slowly for a transformation of how people view the world. Now, you might want to say, okay, we will adjust culturally our schools. But if our observation is limited to the visible things like uniform, like colors of the wall, or putting a cross on the wall, you might just be reacting. You might just be reacting. Somebody wears a different kind of hair and you say, stop that. You might just be reacting. We will need to sit down a bit more. These different elements, these different phenomena, is there a pattern emerging here? Then we can anticipate. What about the cycle of liturgies among the Buddhists, among the Catholics, among the Muslims? If we know the cycle of the religious rituals, then we can anticipate by December we will have Christmas, etc. Now, design, what about systemic structures? We will need to design a whole curriculum change, for example. And mental models will be presented, will be changed by probably promoting different kinds of saints and models and idols and different sayings. So it's the same thing. And the tip, normally what we see as culture would actually be just 10% of the things like customs, mores, courtesies, way of paying respect. But we need to go to the cultural values, the priorities, and the assumptions. Now, slowly, we are identifying what else are there. In the surface, you say food, flags, festivals, fashion, hairstyle, music, performances, and usually that's our notion of culture. But we need to appreciate the deep culture, and there's a lot more. What is our view of the world? Is it good or bad? Is there hope? Is love uh, worth it? Do we still respect fidelity? What kind of things hurt us as a people? Wow, very good, no? I now, so I'd like to throw these things like culture would include beliefs, actions, and experiences. Beliefs, goals, views of truth, views of justice, actions, uh, the way a woman should move, the way a priest should conduct himself, the way a principal should do, should talk. What about experiences? Political, educational, social, economic, even paranormal experiences. Beliefs, you have views of truth. What is considered true? What is considered good? What is considered beautiful? Yeah, and there you'll have to understand uh, the contributions of religions, of philosophy, of law, etc. What about personal habits, eating habits? How many times do you eat? And what should be the shape of the plate? Among the Japanese, it's square. For many of us, it's circle. What's the hygiene? When you say wash your hands, do we feel okay or do we resent that? No, dress, appearance. So, in other words, school leaders will have to develop cultural competency. So, from cultural destructiveness or cultural insensitivity, cultural blindness, not seeing the cultures of other people, we move, I wish, and we wish to develop cultural competence so that those who run schools will have cultural proficiency. The principals should be very sensitive to culture. No, okay. Now, what I'd like to do now is to give you an example of an encounter with this cultural diversity and the depth of culture. I'd like to present a case in Mindanao where I was staying for 5 years. There is this Pilar College run by the sisters, the religious of the Virgin Mary. And they were celebrating 100 years of existence in that Muslim-dominated Mindanao. But then there became a problem because 30% of the population of the students turned out to be Muslims. And some parents complained, uh, why don't you allow our girls, our daughters, to wear hijab? So there was a problem. There was a problem. Okay. Now, should Muslim girls be allowed to wear hijab in this Catholic school? Now, the sister said, well, this is a Catholic school. You knock on the door, you applied, and there is uniform, and that is standard for all. So just follow, be one like us, so that there's no problem. But there was still a problem because some parents who are very religious would say, no, we want our daughters to wear hijab. And so that became a big conflict, and the sisters were very afraid. No? Um, so what happened? Um, Academic researchers, media and law practitioners, etc. We need to handle this very carefully. So there was a complaint by a parent. The policy of not wearing hijab is a violation of our religious freedom. It even violates the very mission of Pilar College, stated in its handbook that it must respect and understand all Christians, Muslims, and Dumans, the indigenous peoples. Many of us felt that this violation should not be taken lightly and needs to be acted upon immediately, according to Estino, the mother of a student of Pilar College. And she herself was a graduate of Pilar College in 1990. The National Commission for Muslim Filipinos, Secretary Attorney Sadain, defended the Muslim community and maintained that the wearing of the hijab is fully supported by law and state policies like Magna Carta for Women, Department of Education, Commission on Higher Education, and the Department of Health. There was a problem with the health because in the nursing school, should the Muslim women be allowed to wear hijab? According to some people, that's not good for health reason. Now, it says, our own Supreme Court decisions have hewed closely to this line of thought, meaning on the side of the Muslims. To cite only one out of many rulings upholding academic freedom, the High Court asserted in the University of the Philippines versus Civil Service Commission, we have held time and again that the university has the academic freedom to determine for itself on academic grounds who may teach, what may be taught, how it shall be taught, and who may be admitted to study. So this is now the other side, academic freedom. Such a policy does not intend to discriminate. I asked the sisters, they asked me to help. No? Sabi nila, Father, our policy does not intend to discriminate, but rather to democratize or to equalize all students, regardless of their religion and regardless of their economic status. The way I look at it, it is even Pilar College now that is being discriminated against because it is being mandated to conform to something that will suit the Muslim enrollees, despite the fact that the school has the Catholic identity. You see, there is a problem. And it's so so I asked them, okay, they asked me to facilitate the dialogue. And I asked the sisters, why do you have this policy of not allowing hijab? Because we don't want discrimination. In school, we have uniform, and therefore, whether you are rich or poor, whether you're Muslim or what else, or Catholic or indigenous, we're all the same here. So we can play volleyball very freely. So it is meant to remove discrimination by removing difference. I asked the Muslim groups, including the lawyers, why do you want the wearing of the Muslim hijab? Because that's part of our religion. And it is a serious matter for us. So and we will see that there will be no discrimination if the school allows us to be different. Oh, so now I summarize for them. Clarification. Pilar College wants to avoid discrimination by removing difference. No hijab makes everyone equal, meaning similar. The Muslim office wants to avoid discrimination by accepting and even celebrating difference. Wearing hijab makes Muslims feel accepted as who they are. So I told them, look, for all your differences, Pilar College and the Muslim office share the same value, avoiding discrimination, respect, except that you have different ways of interpreting. On the visible plane, you have a different way of interpreting non-discrimination. So maybe you should consult first. Okay. And so what happened? To cut the long story short, I made them realize that the Muslim group want to allow wearing of hijab. They focus on accepting difference. Pilar also does not want discrimination by focusing on similarity, but they share the same value. You see, on the surface, they are different, but if you go deeper into value system, you discover that they share a common value. And what happened? So after a 1-year process, Pilar College decided it will allow the wearing of hijab not immediately as demanded by the NCMF, but after social preparation. I introduced the word social preparation. So don't make the change abrupt. And try to explain to both Christians and Muslims the real meaning of hijab. Because apparently some Muslim girls did not understand the hijab. This is the result of both a dialogue between the Pilar College and the Muslim office, as well as internal processing among RVM schools and the stakeholders. Okay, so Pilar College changed its policy, not its value. See? But then what happened? Some Muslim girls started wearing hijab, but some Muslim girls didn't feel they had to wear hijab. And so a few Muslim girls wore hijab, and it did not really disrupt the school. And now there is no more conflict. Very good. Okay. So as you can see, on top of the others, society shaping schools, you also, the other book by Peter Senge, Schools That Learn. We realized that in the classroom, you have teacher, you have student, but outside the classroom, you have teachers, and outside the classroom, you also have parents. You have to manage this. You have to manage this. When you look at the student, they belong to a family. When you look at the teacher also belongs to a school system, right? And when you look at the school, it belongs to a community system. And so we need to understand the dynamics of all these actors and determine what is superficial, what is in depth. Okay? Now take note that the teacher has to deal with the student, but the teacher also has to deal with the superintendent and the principal has to deal with the school board. The school board is composed of people from outside the school. The teacher also has to deal with the parent. The student has to deal with the parent and the teacher. The student also has to deal with other students and friends outside the school and into the community. And therefore, you need to have an advocacy of general understanding of society in order to maintain your culture or change the culture even within the classroom. Okay? Now, so how do you do that? Maybe you can change to multi-faith calendar by integrating the festivals of other religions into your Christian school or public school, etc. So learn to have a rich notion of culture and cultural diversity, and accept the fact that society itself is changing. There are many actors, and let's not have conflict on the surface. Let's go deep into what is common values among us. Okay, I'll stop here.
Okay, thank you for Pastor Albert. I think you deliver your material so clear. Okay, so dear participant, please give him applause for Pastor Albert. And thank you so much for the clear explanation. Okay, for the audience, if you have any question for Father Albert, you may keep until the Q&A session, or you may write down the question in the chat box. So please make sure to put the question and your identity, the name and where you come from. And then, okay, from Father Albert, I noticed some a sentence that is interesting for me. When you are in Rome, do as the Romans do. Okay, so thank you once more for Father Albert. And now I think we still have a little time to move to Father JOJO. But before that, I want to make sure that Father JOJO, are you ready? Okay. We are still not connected with Father JOJO, maybe. But again, okay. Actually, there are, from Father Albert, we also learn about something else. Not only do the Romans do, but I also noticed that not everything is on the surface. Yeah, we need to do the people do in surround us. Okay, but that's not must. Yeah, there's another sentence that completed, which is not everything is on the surface. Okay, I hope we do the same in our unit. In Strada Association, actually, we came from many races. We bring our culture, we bring our nature, but we are gathered in Strada Association. We hope we can build the new culture, the best culture for us. Okay, I'll check one again. Can we connect with? Okay, Father JOJO. Okay, Father JOJO, can you hear my voice clearly there?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, very well. So before we move to Father JOJO's presentation, I am gladly to introduce you with him. Okay, Father JOJO FUNG, Jesuit, hails from Malaysia. He teaches leadership and contextual theology at the East Asian Pastoral Institute and the Loyola School of Theology, Manila. He has published many articles on contextual theology, missiology, environmental theology, and ethics. Upcoming books: Cosmosism, Foundation for Creational Phenomenology and Unspirited Leadership, and A Sacred Sojourn in the Phenomenology, Ruah of the Poor and Earth Cosmos. He served as an international chaplain of the Global Movement of Catholic Students, a board member of Sacred Springs Dialogue Institute of Spirituality and Sustainability, and president of the board of the Asian Lay Leadership Forum. Okay, there's a little introduction for Father JOJO. Father JOJO, are you ready to present your material?
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay, so participants, here you are, Father JOJO FUNG. Father, take your time.
Thank you, thank you, Yang tema dalam kuliah saya ialah symbolic role of school leadership, Ini agak spesifik, no? So I just want to reflect together with all the participants tentang tema ini. I would like to frame the reflection, changing school culture for a changing nation. No, I think this is important because the nation is in a stage of change or transformation. No? So, in other words, what Pater Albert Alejo has given you in terms of complexities of the global culture, even within a single culture of the school, is also caught up within the changing cultures of a nation. So I think it's good to be aware of this. We use words like complex, uneven. No? We use words like confusing labyrinth of voices. So if you look at Indonesia, it's an archipelago, no? Or Nusantara Indonesia. No? So this country is also like the world society infected, dijangkit oleh COVID-19. No? There are struggles, of course, within Indonesia with extractive mining. There are protests in different parts of Indonesia. There are the beautiful islands in terms of nature. And there is also what we call waterways in different parts of Indonesia. So we do appreciate the richness in terms of the aspirations, the joy and the pain and the sorrows and the dreams and the struggle of Nusantara Indonesia. No? What would be good to look at is we talk about symbolic leadership. No, Pater Albert Alejo spoke about hijab as a symbol. Yeah? So if you look at this, you look at Presiden Jokowi yang menyimpulkan nilai aman dan halal ya, dalam tempo vaccination ini. No? So this is a very symbolic leadership, a very symbolic leadership. And the values are keamanan dan kehalaan, no? Vaksin ini. Ya. So I think this is what we meant, no? Symbolic leadership. That means you really symbolize, you embodied the values that are in this vaccination so that the nation will also believe in the importance of vaccination, believe in the importance of developing herd community against COVID-19. So this is really what we call symbolic leadership. And I also wish that our schools can become center of symbolic
Ini
leadership.
cara menurunkan rice head, apa? Ini gimana nih? Aku nggak sengaja. Ini loh.
Okay, so for me, this is important to really symbolize the value of collaboration, the value that we as schools, Catholic or public or private, would like to symbolize the importance of vaccination, the importance of immunity, the importance of protecting not just our school children, our students, but also in terms of the protecting of the nation against this pandemic COVID-19. So is there a chance, for instance, to offer our schools, as centers of vaccination, or menjadi pusat untuk vaksinasi ini, no? So that is something that we can think about in terms of providing symbolic leadership as schools in our nation. For me, if you look at the Pancasila di Nusantara Indonesia, I would like to update a bit about Pancasila, no? In terms of what I highlighted as green or as yellow color. In terms of the 5 principles of Pancasila, what is really very heartening is believe in the one and only God. And this is for all the religions, for all the different tribes and communities of Indonesia. No? So ini sudah diutamakan di Pancasila untuk negara Indonesia ini. Ya. And very interestingly, number 2, I think it's not just to develop a just but also green and interconnected humanity. No? So I think the school has to symbolize that. Huh? The school has to symbolize, number 1, the belief in the one and only God. Number 2 is to symbolize a developing just, green, and interconnected humanity. And then number 3 is it's not only the unity in itself, but also in terms of 2 other values that I would like to highlight. Fratelli Tutti, which was highlighted by Pastor Albert Alejo on social friendship, no? And human fraternity. There are 2 values that I would speak about. They are known as solidarity and solidity. This is highlighted in the documents. Prinsip keempat itu, I think I don't have much to add, except that it's not just the inner wisdom, but also inner religio-cultural or indigenous wisdom. There are different suku atau bangsa di Indonesia. Some of them are known as indigenous people. So I think it is very important to include the religio-cultural and indigenous wisdom in terms of prinsip keempat. No? Prinsip kelima itu ialah, I think we need to emphasize not just social justice, but also eco-justice. No? And then Pastor Albert talks about gender, environmental justice. So I think we need to also include those dimensions. So eco-justice for the whole of the people and also the natural archipelagoic world of Indonesia, no? Is to emphasize that the other island cultures are equally important as Java, no? There's a joke, of course, we always say about Indonesia that it is the society of Javanese, no? But we also realize that the Society of Jesus atau Syarikat Yesus termasuk anggota-anggota dari pada lain-lain tempat juga, bukan sahaja dari Jawa. Ya. So even the society is becoming more plural and multicultural as well. So I would like to emphasize that if the school culture, especially symbolically, can menyimpulkan nilai-nilai dalam 5 prinsip ini dalam Pancasila, I think we are doing very well. So this is one guideline in the country of Indonesia, dalam konteks kita di Indonesia, kalau bisanya sekolah-sekolah dalam budaya akan menyimpulkan semua nilai-nilai yang dijelaskan dalam prinsip-prinsip Pancasila. No? So that is one point I would like to emphasize. No? And because di perkumpulan Strada ini dipimpin oleh Yesuit, I would like to emphasize what we call the universal apostolic preferences. Ini baru saja diumumkan oleh Syarikat Yesus Global. Ya. So what are they? They are 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's not 1, 2, 2, 4. Number 1 is to show the way to God through the spiritual exercises and discernment. So this is very important for us. In other words, yang latihan kerohanian Santo Ignatius itu sangat penting bagi kita supaya dengan cara ini banyak ya guru-guru dan juga guru besar mengalami kehadiran Tuhan. No? So I think this is in line also with prinsip pertama di Pancasila Indonesia, where I think kita mengutamakan kehadiran Tuhan. No? But more than that, dalam universal apostolic preferences, there is an emphasis on experiencing this God through the spiritual exercises. No? and discernment. So I hope that this can be filtered down to our school culture melalui the principal and then the staff of the school. So bagi saya sekolah itu menjadi simbol dalam kehidupan sekolah, budaya sekolah, tapi juga dalam kehidupan guru besar, para guru besar dan juga para guru-guru di mana mereka menyimbolkan kehadiran Tuhan ya di sekolah. And hopefully there is a sense of discernment, no? Discernment is not about menghafalkan dogma-dogma dalam iman kita, tapi bagaimana kita mengalami kehadiran Tuhan dan juga mengalami apakah kehendak Tuhan pada zaman ini di konteks kita. No? The second universal apostolic preferences is to walk with the poor, the outcasts of the world, those whose dignity has been violated in a mission of reconciliation and justice. No? So bagi syarikat Yesus, this is a very important guideline. So pedoman ini sangat penting bagi kita, no? Is to journey, menemani, wong melarat yang berada di negara kita, no? And then also to menyadari tentang martabat manusia dan juga hak-hak asasi manusia wong melarat yang berada di Indonesia. The third one is to accompany young people in the creation of a hopeful future. No? So I think it's also important to, as we accompany the young people, to listen to the voices, no? The voices of the young. Cita-cita mereka sebagai kaum muda, sebagai generasi muda. No? The fourth one is collaborate in the care of our common home. So that is already a kind of consciousness, ini ialah kesadaran yang disampaikan oleh encyclical daripada Paus Franciscus dalam Laudato Si, or care for the common home. No? So these are the four universal apostolic preferences bagi saya. Sebagai sekolah dalam Strada, dalam perkumpulan Strada, kita juga harus menyimbolkan 4 pedoman ini yang disampaikan oleh syarikat Yesus. No? Diharapnya dan juga kita berdoa agar sekolah-sekolah dalam budaya juga menyimbolkan 4 prinsip ini atau 4 pedoman. Ya. So it's really a leadership that is symbolic of pluralism and inclusiveness. If we look at the values of Pancasila and then the UAP atau Universal Apostolic Preferences, it does symbolize, no? The importance of God, the importance of the excluded, the violated, the importance of young people, the importance of building a common home. Yeah? So these are really our guidelines how to provide symbolic leadership in a pluralistic and therefore in an inclusive society like Indonesia. Huh? Again, I emphasize the importance of faith and spirituality because of number one atau prinsip 1 di Pancasila dan pedoman bersatu, pedoman yang first dalam UAP. Ya. So I would like to emphasize the importance of faith and spirituality. No? So for anyone who is a guru besar atau guru yang berada di sekolah, I am the principal symbolic face, hands, hearts of God, no? Of Jesus, of the Holy Spirit, of Mother Mary, of the saints and the angels, of the ancestors of Mother Earth. No? So I should be there. Huh? I'm there at the school prayer, at the masses, at the Oma's gathering, at the communal festive ritual celebration of harvest, at the rites of passage that are part of the ritualistic celebration of the school. No? So I would like to emphasize that. And also in page 90 of Changing School Culture, it says how schools learn from the future. And then page 230, how to help staff at your school remember that teaching is a calling and not just a job. So ini merangkumi bidang spiritualitas atau bidang iman, where I think if we do experience God, we must also at the same time experience God calling us to symbolize, or to provide a very symbolic leadership, to really symbolize the values of Pancasila, to symbolize the values of the universal apostolic preferences. So I wish that you become the face of the values of Pancasila, the values of the universal apostolic preferences. So if you become the face, the hands and the feet and the heart of both the values in Pancasila and the values in UAP, then I think you are really providing symbolic leadership dalam sekolah-sekolah yang berada di Indonesia, ya, yang dirangkumi oleh perkumpulan Strada. Pater Albert talks about the Zoom culture. In fact, he used the word Zoom friends. After Facebook, we have era baru, ini era Zoom. On page 87 of Peterson and Dillsbo, dikatakan, how have new technologies been introduced or used? Yang soal yang saya ingin menyampaikan ialah who are included in this era of digital technology, who are excluded and why? How do we rectify the exclusion of so many in an age of digital divide in our archipelago? So digital divide ini menunjukkan kepada tidak kesimpulan, ya, suasana yang tidak seimbang, ya, di Indonesia dalam era digital ini. So while the school is already using Zoom technology, but also we need to be aware as perkumpulan Strada bahwa di Nusantara Indonesia ini ada banyak sekolah, ya, sekolah mereka tidak seimbang dengan kita dalam Zoom technology, dalam budaya digital ini, ya. So how do we as perkumpulan Strada reach out in order to rectify this exclusion or tidak seimbangannya dalam this digital culture, ya. So I think this is something that we also need to think about, especially in UAP2, no? How do we really journey with the excluded? The excluded is not just within our own schools, but also in the largest technology or culture. So how do we help those schools as well? Huh? There's something for us to think about. Huh? Something for us to think about. No? All right. So I like us to think in terms of the broader society, whereby as a perkumpulan Strada, in what way can we symbolize a culture based on UAP2, yeah? That is to journey with the excluded, so much so that because we are a perkumpulan yang mempunyai dana, mempunyai teknologi, how do we share what we have with schools that are excluded from this digital technology? Yeah? Something for us to think about, no? There's always a phrase used in Malaysia, memimpin melalui teladan, no? In other words, our examples is very important. So you become what you symbolize. I emphasize the importance of being multifocal. Multifocal on page 206, chapter 9, the 8 symbolic roles of leaders. So to be multifocal is to be inclusive, to be green, to be just, to be plural, to be the face of God's power and healing. Because of UAP1, that to show God's presence, and also in Pancasila, prinsip pertama, ya. So on page 206, 6, it talks about symbolic roles. For me, when I was a principal of Maktab Nasional, yaitu di Sabah, I always take time to sit and talk with each of the teacher. I give them time. I invest time in terms of listening to them in order to understand who they are, what are the aspirations, what are the struggles in their hearts. And also I try to ask them, what do you find encouraging in myself as the principal, and what do you think I need to improve as well as the principal? And before the SMR exam, I always sit with every student in order to talk to them about how they feel about the final exam. I spend time with them, and I think that is important to symbolize a principal, a director that is giving importance to listen to the teachers, to learn from the teachers, at the same time to listen to the students and then to encourage them. At East Asian Pastoral Institute in Manila is to use as much as possible the cultural dress of the different countries. Why? Because I want to symbolize that I value what is symbolized by your culture. In other words, I like to honor the different cultures at the culture masses. Even I undergo a ritual itself dalam the penitential service in a mass, where in the island of in the islands of let me think of this island. I think it's Vanuatu. You go under the mat during the penitential service. Instead of singing "The Lord Have Mercy," then you go underneath the mat. The mat symbolizes a rebirth. So to provide symbolic leadership at the same time is to really take part, to participate personally in those rituals, asking for forgiveness and reconciliation during the Mass. In the Loyola School of Theology, we have what we call the Parallel Liturgy on Creation at the Laudato Si Terrace. So the School of Theology provide a symbolic leadership in order to celebrate with the different cultures of the different nations of the students, celebrating the richness of the natural world, the richness of the earth. So again, the school in itself, as a School of Theology, provide a faith celebration of the importance of the natural world, of the importance of the environment, of the importance of Mother Earth. So that is really providing what I call cultural, symbolic leadership as a school. There's something that some of us are talking about is why? Why our schools, why our colleges, why our universities? We are some of the top schools. We have formed some of the best leaders in our society. But also we ask the question, why? Some of the presidents, some of the directors, and some of the ministers that we form are the most corrupt, also the most oppressive. So we are talking about the importance of formation of conscience, conscience for the poor and for the earth. So if we want to provide symbolic leadership, then we have to take the importance of the 8 symbolic roles on page 207 and 8 of this book, Changing School Cultures. So the 8 are historian, anthropological detectives, visionaries, symbols, porter, actor, healer. So I also would like to emphasize the importance of conscience that you wish the staff and students to become. So we must be the conscience of the school. We must be the conscience of the nation as well. So according to the church documents, especially Amoris Laetitia, it says here, conscience is the most secret core and sanctuary of a person when one is alone with God, whose voice echoes in the depths of the heart, enabling the couple to listen discerningly to God and his commandments during the pastoral accompaniment, so that they arrive at decisions profoundly free of subjective caprice and accommodation to prevailing social mores. Conscience remains the sacred sanctuary where God encountered the couples, motivate and lead them forward amidst the joys and sorrows of modern life. This is taken from Vatican II document, Gaudium et Spes, Church in the Modern World. Ini maksudnya conscience ialah suara batin di mana Tuhan itu menemui kita, sebagai penganutnya dan juga menyampaikan kepada kita apakah kehendaknya untuk kita supaya dilaksanakan sebagai guru besar dan juga guru dan juga belajar ya. So I think we need to symbolize a clear conscience, a just conscience, a conscience that cares for the poor and for the earth this time as schools. So this is another dimension that I think we need to symbolize as schools culture. So if we talk about changing school culture, I would like to underline, menegaskan kepentingan suara batin yang harus diformasikan. So let's pray that this is something that we can also think about. And I think this is a formation of not just any conscience. Yes, it's a form conscience, but it must be also formed in terms of green conscience for the poor and the earth. Why? Because in Laudato Si number 13, it talks about particular appreciation is owed to those who tirelessly seek to resolve the tragic environmental degradation on the lives of the world's poorest. I think talks about sensitive, in those places are low. Frequently, no measures are taken until after people's health has been irreversibly affected. So if you look around Indonesia, look around our school, you also see slum area. You also see many poor people, but you also see a lot of plastic, plastic bag, plastic bottle. You also see a lot of cans from soft drinks. So ini berlaku ya in our environment. So the earth is literally a pile of filth. It's really is a garbage dump for our students. So I think the school needs to symbolize a different kind of relationship with the environment, with the earth. So I pray that something can be done. I'm sure our schools under Perkumpulan Strada are already doing a lot to really provide what we call a symbolic green leadership, but also forming the conscience of our students at the same time. It's not a just, but also a green conscience. So I would like to play this for you. This is already what is done in Singapore.
Let me show you this. This is exciting. Watch your head. This is a tree supermarket. It's a supermarket with 150,000 products that are all trees, like this tree, and this tree, and they are not for sale. All of these trees are designed to be planted to make the country colder. and combat climate change. How and why? Let me explain. See, we all know that the Earth is getting warmer and warmer. It's called global warming, and it's a real thing. Factories, cars, pollution. This stuff can increase the temperature levels of the world by 2 to 3 degrees. And that could be deadly to many animals and humans. And when you see all of this, it's easy to give up. It's impossible to make the Earth cooler. It'll take decades, and no one seems to care. That's what I thought until I saw these people. A group of scientists in Singapore who think it's possible to make the Earth cooler. How?
By planting trees.
Not one, but billions of trees. See, trees make the Earth cooler because they don't just shade us from the sun. Trees also sweat. First, the leaves absorb the heat from the sun. Then the tree takes water from the ground, and the water evaporates into the air through the leaves, just like sweating. This way, the tree makes itself cooler, just like humans. That's why a hot day becomes less hot when you stand under a tree. It's very simple.
Trees are nature's best air conditioners. They bring down heat, they regulate the temperatures, purify the air, and they store carbon in the atmosphere.
And that is just one tree. Now imagine what 1 million extra trees could do. And this is what they're doing. The community in Singapore is planting 1 million trees in the city, right next to skyscrapers, right next to highways, right next to homes. They're planting and planting and planting.
As part of the 1 million tree movement, we have planted 50,000 trees so far, and a lot more to come over the next 10 years.
And to get to the 1 million goal, they built their own tree supermarket. It's like a nursery where they grow trees in the hundreds of thousands. They grow them here, and when they are ready, they take them out, put them on a trolley, put them on a truck, secure them, and drive them all the way to the city to be planted. And they do this every single day, on public holidays, on weekends, and even on Christmas breaks. Every day, there is a tree planted.
You plant every day? Yes, we do. We plant every day, non-stop, even on Sundays and public holidays.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
On public holidays?
Yep.
And the result is astonishing. Singapore has become one of the greenest cities in the world. It has more trees than humans. On average, these trees can reduce temperatures by about 2 degrees. 2 Celsius degrees. And in this humid and hot country, 2 degrees can make a big difference.
I actually planted some of them, but alone, I'm just one man. I need the whole village of people to come together. Why I need you and everyone else be on board.
And in this humid, hot country,
just to be aware that an exercise that that even the perkumpulan Strada can actually take up in terms of symbolizing a much more green tree planting.
Iya, dingin lagi.
Is it okay? I just call up another PowerPoint because I think
for the participant,
all right.
this mute.
So I'm going to share another PowerPoint with you. Are you able to see the video? Are you able to see the video? Hello? I have another video to play for you at this point.
My name is Ateneo. We are living in the beginning of a mass extinction. Our climate is breaking down. Children like me are giving up their education to protests. But we can still fix this. You can still survive. We need to stop burning fossil fuels. But this alone will not be enough. Lots of solutions are talked about. But what about a solution that is right in front of us? I'll let my friend George explain.
There is a magic machine that sucks carbon out of the air. Costs very little itself. It's called a tree is an example of natural climate solution. Mangroves, peat jungles, marshes, beds, kelp forests, swamps, coral reefs, they take carbon out of the air and lock it away. Nature is a tool we can use to repair our broken climate. These natural climate solutions could make a massive difference.
Pretty cool, right?
But only if we also leave fossil fuels in the ground.
Here's the crazy part. Right now, we are ignoring them. We spend 1,000 times more on global fossil fuel subsidies than on natural-based solutions.
This cannot be played. We only hear the voices. Hello, Father. Father JOJO, are you still with us? Okay, maybe there is a little interruption from the signal, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, Father, sorry to interrupt. That we cannot see the video. We only hear the voice here.
Oh, you cannot see the video, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
So I need to share the PowerPoint again.
Okay, just share it. You may share it.
Later. Have to make sure that I get the right PowerPoint.
Forests are being cut down at the rate of 30 football pitches a minute.
And nature is doing something.
I'm not able to share my PowerPoint. Could you check why?
Okay. Okay.
I can't share my PowerPoint.
Okay, wait. The committee, can you please help the Father JOJO to share the PowerPoint? Because Father JOJO cannot share the PowerPoint. Just wait a moment, Father.
Okay, Burini. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, let me check. Yeah, all right.
Can you? Okay.
I like to play this video. I hope you can see it and also hear the voice. Sebab ini di ini ialah inisiatif daripada Indonesia.
This could be a real game changer. What is this made of?
It's made of this chemical process. You use it for the and then the coffee sachet.
You can survive.
That's great.
Stop burning.
For soap, so you don't open the soap, you can just wash out and
Will not
That's
be
goals.
not solutions are talked about. But what about a solution that is right?
In this is in the wrapper. While there are still some concerns about how seaweed farms might affect coastal ecosystems, the potential of this design is enormous. That was really great. It seems to me to be such an exciting, but more importantly, a really concrete solution to the plastic problem. And it's coming from a young Indonesian. He's only 25 years old. It's coming from a country that's one of the biggest in the world in the next few years.
So it might be good to be aware of this, ya. Bahwa di Indonesia ada belia yang sudah ya munculkan inisiatif yang baru untuk mengatasi masalah di Indonesia. So please be aware that our young people I will move to another room in order to get a better Wi-Fi, yeah? Yeah, because I think the voice is not good.
It will be help us to get the more better signal there. For okay, and we also welcome okay, JOJO, are you ready to continue the presentation? Okay. While waiting, you may write
Mr.
it
Ega,
down.
can you hear my voice?
Itu enggak putus-putus.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Ega, your voice is unclear. Your voice is not clear enough. Can you repeat the explanation?
Okay. Okay. So for the participants. Okay.
Okay, how about my voice, Mr. Ega? Is it clear from there?
The voice is clear, Miss Ayu.
Oh, it's clear. Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Ega. I cannot hear your voice clearly. How about Mr. Elian? Is it only my connection or how about you?
Maybe because of Mr. Ega connections.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Ega
Mr.
connection.
Ega.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Pater Jojo, are you still there? Okay, while waiting for Mr. Ega's connection, Pater Jojo, you may continue the explanation. Are you still there? Are you still
Yes,
there?
okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry for the
Okay,
trouble, Mr. Jojo, Father Jojo.
Pater
Yeah.
Jojo.
Sekarang jelas ya yang suara saya?
Okay, it's clear enough,
Yep, clear.
Father Jojo.
Aha. Just now the video, is it clear? Hello?
Yeah,
Yes.
hello.
Yes, Father.
Okay, Mr.
What
Ega,
about
are
the
you
video?
back?
Is it clear?
Yes, your voice is clear.
Is the
Oh,
video
Mr. Ega,
clear just
okay.
now?
Yeah, clear, Mr. Jojo. Okay, Mr. Ega, the time is back to yours. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Once more, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ega.
Yep.
Ega.
Okay, Pater Jojo, I think you may try to open the video.
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah.
This could be a real game changer. What is this made of?
It's made of seaweed without using any chemical process. So we use it for the
Sorry,
bar
Pater
and then
Jojo.
for the coffee.
The video is not appear. We cannot see the video too.
Okay.
Yeah. We only hear the voices. We
we
cannot
will go-
see the video.
Okay, so we will go to the. What about the PowerPoint? Can you see the PowerPoint?
Okay,
Can you
let's
see
try.
the PowerPoint?
Not yet.
The PowerPoint?
Not yet. We cannot see it.
Edgar, can you see the PowerPoint? You can't see the PowerPoint.
Not yet. Nah, I cannot see.
Okay.
Okay. This one, it's shared by. Okay.
Maybe I need to
Oh
share.
no, this is from. Okay, this is from Ma'am Rini. Ma'am Rini slide. Is that here?
Can I share?
But this the PowerPoint you want to share, Pater Jojo, or the other L?
This is the PowerPoint I want to share. Yes.
Okay,
can you see
maybe
the PowerPoint?
let Purini to. Yeah, I can see it. Maybe let Purini help us to share the PowerPoint for you, Pater Jojo.
Okay.
Okay, but we cannot hear any voices. Now we just see the video, but we cannot hear any voices.
Let me try again to see whether you can
Okay.
hear the voices. No? Can you see the
No,
video?
I let Burini to try to fix it first. Yeah, while waiting the voices, I remind the participant, please, if you want to ask,
For
if
the
you
coffee
wish,
sachet
feel free to write
syrup.
them. Okay, that is
Great. For soap, so you don't need to open. We can just wash our hands really quickly.
okay.
Concerns about how seaweed farms might affect coastal ecosystem. The potential is enormous.
Oh. You see the sharing the you see the screen? Can you see? Hello.
Okay.
You cannot hear me.
Problem here. My presentation here. I think you can see the explanation.
Yeah.
Sorry, the connection is unstable. Because of the weather. Don't forget
Hello.
tendency.
Hello.
Yes. I'm sorry, that is about the connection. We hope the connection can be more stable after this.
Okay, I'll share the
Can you
screen.
hear my voice clearly?
I can hear, yeah, I can hear your voice. I'm going to share the screen now. Okay, this is the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So kita teruskan?
Yep, we can continue it.
All right, sure. I would like to emphasize the importance of, the schools in perkumpulan Strada to.
Tinggal doanya nanti di sini.
Doanya saya ya.
Dengan kata-katanya ini. Kalau orang.
Okay, for the participant, please one more to turn off your microphone. For the participant, I am sorry, the participant. Okay, Pater, you can continue your presentation.
All right, thank you. So, saya mau menegaskan tentang forming conscience of solidarity and solidity with the poor. Ini dipetik daripada Fratelli, salah satu ensiklikal yang diterbitkan oleh Paus Franciscus. So solidarity with the poor means thinking and acting in terms of community. It means that the lives of all are prior. Mr. Edgar, the voice is not good. Huh?
Okay. Okay.
I think the voice is breaking up, right?
Yes. Pardon, Pater?
Is the voice clear or is it breaking up? Is my voice clear
okay,
on the
I
other
can
side?
hear your voice clear.
Okay, right.
Yes,
all right.
It's clear enough here.
Okay, saya teruskan. Yeah. It means that the lives of all are prior to the appropriation of goods by a few. It also means combating the structural causes of poverty, inequality, the lack of work, land and housing, the denial of social and labor rights. It means confronting the destructive effects of the empire of money. So I think this is quite clear. Solidarity with the poor means not just dole out charity, but also combating the structural causes, no, and also especially the distress of money, or the Pope Francis used the word idolatry of money. And then in the Fratelli number 115, solidarity has to be infused with solidity. Ya, ini adalah dua istilah. Solidarity yang kait dengan solidity. that is born of the consciousness that we are responsible for the fragility of others as we strive to build a common future. So only in solidarity and solidity can development be clearly directed to the development of others and to eliminating poverty, especially to the creation of diversified work opportunities. So in other words, if we can form the conscience of our students in this understanding, the value of solidarity and solidity, the meaning is quite wholesome. It's not just dole out. It's not just giving goods to others. Those are emergency measures, but I think it is more than that. So how do you form the conscience of our students through the school culture in terms of the understanding of solidarity and solidity? I think it's highly important. Then I would like to emphasize in relation to the poor, we need to embody the spirit of neighborliness atau semangat Good Samaritan, who embrace according to Fratelli Tutti number 100, the bruised and abandoned person on the roadside, whom they did not regard as a distraction and interruption from all that, or as someone hardly important or nobody, undistinguished, irrelevant to their plans for the future. This is based on Universal Apostolic Preferences number 2. How do we journey with the excluded dengan semangat neighborliness, in Fratelli Tutti number 100. So I like to emphasize that as part of the school culture, that we need to symbolize. We need to symbolize together. There's a point I would like to also emphasize. It's called the culture of a polyhedral society. Polyhedral. Pater Albert Alejo menegaskan tentang complex society. So I would like to also highlight what we call a polyhedral society. What is a polyhedral society? According to Evangelii Gaudium, that was promulgated on 24 November 2013, number 237. A polyhedral society in an open world is symbolized by ini penting, many faceted polyhedron whose different sides form a variegated unity where the whole is greater than the part. So in other words, there are many parts. I think Pater Albert Alejo dalam PowerPoint-nya, he used the network of networks. I like that term, the network of networks. So this is really what we call a polyhedron. And there are many networks, there are many cultures, many society, many tribes. And they form together a unity, and therefore the whole society is much bigger than the part. So if you look at a much more inclusive society, a much more plural society, and therefore there is a sense of unity. So Pater Albert used the word university in diversity. So that is a polyhedron. So let me go further. In Fratelli Tutti number 215, Pope Francis emphasized, this is a society where differences coexist. Pater Albert, used the phrase, we must celebrate the difference of heating in a Catholic school. You will allow
Dan apa yang dipakai?
sudah masuk belum pertanyaannya yang Yudis di chat
Ya.
di chat si yang dari Australia udah bertanya dia video kasih tahu bermasalah. Okay. Okay.
So I want to emphasize polyhydroxy where the center is God,
Okay.
center is and is a spirituality that embrace pluralism, a spirituality that is in. So
Okay.
memang menjadi budaya yang tradisional tapi berwarna-warni. So, terima kasih.
Matur suwun siang. Maraming salamat Pater Jojo.
Ya, terima kasih.
Okay. Pater Jojo has delivered the both of you ready enough to answer the question because there are so many. Okay. Okay, Pater.
We start with Pater
Jojo
Albert.
and okay, we will start from the question. But before we go to the question and answer, I want to deliver that. Pater Jojo. Maybe in Latin we say verba docent exempla trahun, like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Where the words teach us something, but actually not only words. We need some examples that makes any changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that, Pater Jojo. Okay, thank you. So we can move for the first participant to us. I think we need to, I want to let Bapak Fajar Yunianto from SMA Strada Bhaktiwiyata. Okay. Are you here, Bapak Fajar? Okay, no answer. Maybe he goes somewhere for a while. Okay, let's move to the other. Okay, let's move to Jakpus Barsel first. We go to Miss Nia Feva from SMP Strada Pejompongan. Are you here, Miss Nia? Okay, because they are not here, I want to share some question that is delivered in the chat box first. I think we have some good question and maybe there are some similar questions. So if the questions are similar, I just read once. So you may pay attention to the answer from Pater Jojo and Pater. Okay. Okay. All right, we can go to from Miss. Wait, where is it?
Mr. Jojo, stop share.
Okay. Before that, Pater Jojo, can you stop sharing the screen? Yeah. Thank you, Pater Jojo. Okay. This is from Agung Wahyu from Jakarta. Okay. Pak Agung, do you want to share by yourself your question? Bapak Agung from Jakarta. Or am I need to read the question? Okay, let me read. Thank you for your opportunity. I am Agung from Jakarta. I am high school teacher, Japanese born in Papua. Okay, the first question is for Pater Alejo. You have shown us the learning system and said that children development depend on the adults' development. So what is needed so that the school culture can contribute to improving student learnings? What are the commitments? For Pater Jojo, I do not know where to start, but I hope I get the context right. Sometimes there is a misinterpretation between teachers that being tolerant to other culture is to treat the students the same instead of to embrace their culture by letting them to express themselves their own. By letting themselves to express themselves in their own culture, to use their own language or customs. Since you were talking about Papuan people, as you know that they have lived their life the same for years, but when we are looking at their lifestyle, we call them underdeveloped instead of learning their wisdom. I believe there are a lot of things about it. Okay, that is the first question. Pater Albert and Pater Jojo, do you want to answer this question first? Hello, is it clear? Is my voice clear enough? Okay, let me check. Miss Ayu, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Ega.
Clear. Okay. So, okay, Pater Jojo or Pater Albert, do you want to answer this question first?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Pater Albert Alejo emphasized the point of social education. You have to prepare the students to understand that there are all kinds of different cultures. It's called a diversity of cultures, no? Budaya yang berwarna-warni dalam sekolah. And so that kind of social preparation is very important. Without the social preparation, then what happens is they will think that it's the favoritism of the minority culture over the majority culture. I think that's not the case. Not the case is actually there are different circles, different circles. In other words, it is a network of different networks. There are many circles in the one school culture. No? So I think the point is very important in terms of social preparation. And then after that, you slowly introduce, what we call the minority culture, which is you highlighted Papuan culture. No? Indonesia is the one country that do not admit that you have orang asal. That's not actually rectified. So therefore, you have a group of people like in Papua who is struggling with the culture, and you find it very difficult. And therefore, there is what we call social preparation to help the students to understand each culture is important, each culture is different, each culture is rich, and therefore there is a term that you use. It calls inner wisdom. Yeah, I use the word religious cultural wisdom. And that is already highlighted in your Pancasila in terms of inner wisdom. No? So I would like that to be emphasized to the students, especially by teachers and by the principal of the school, that it is not so much in terms of high and low, superior or inferior, civilized or uncivilized, modern or backward or primitive. No, I think those are perspectives that are no longer valid in our contemporary society, especially when we look at a polyhedral society yang ditegaskan oleh Paus Franciscus. It's called polyhedron or polyhedral society. All the parts are important. And therefore, in terms of indigenous wisdom, there's always a contribution towards the way we live our modern life, where there is knowledge, but there is no wisdom. No wisdom. Wisdom itu ialah ditransmitted ya daripada generasi ke generasi. No? It is the wisdom of the ancestors that are passed on from one generation to the next. No? So what we have in our school is the passing on of knowledge without the passing on of inner wisdom. And so I think this is very important for us to realize there is a difference between just learning knowledge and the acquisition of wisdom. I think the indigenous people are saying to us, it's not enough to have knowledge. There must be wisdom. The good example is that, the indigenous people are saying that our lives are connected to the land. The land is connected to the water is connected to the air is connected to the forest. And then in the Laudato Si number 16, it says, everything in our world is connected. Okay. Now that's an inner wisdom of the indigenous people. Now it has been highlighted by Laudato Si number 16. So anyway, at least in our church document, we pick up the inner wisdom of indigenous peoples. And now we are learning that in our modern society, we need that inner wisdom. So no amount of just knowledge from natural and social science is able to overcome the ecological problem. We need inner wisdom. Okay. Terima kasih.
Do you want to answer the question? Okay. Is there Pastor Albert still here? Okay. We will wait Pastor Albert because he left. Yeah, he left for a while. Maybe we'll ask him to join again.
Okay.
We'll ask him to rejoin us. Okay.
Yeah, I'll text him to rejoin us.
But yeah. Okay. Or maybe we can move to other question first, Pastor Jojo.
Bisa, yeah.
If it's possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. I think we got another question here. Okay. This is good morning and thanks for the very I am the alumni of Strada Viatasana. In school, prepare and tackle the growing polarization among cultures in the internet and information era. With all the hoax, false truth, and etc. Since we clearly, Pater, is breaking up.
Okay, Mr. Ega, I think
Is it clear
that your voice is not clear enough, so Father Jojo doesn't give any answer. Maybe you can make sure that your connection is good enough, then repeat the question again.
Okay, I think it. How about now? Is it clear?
Enough.
Is it unclear?
Voice, yeah, I can't catch. I can't
Okay,
get
Father Jojo.
I can't get.
Which one is more
Apa soalan
clear?
itu?
Sir Ega's voice or mine? Which one is more clear?
Yours is clear. Yours is clear. Go.
Oh. Okay.
I think Miss Ayu. Okay. I think Miss Ayu can help me to share the question.
Okay. How about now, Father Jojo? If Miss Edga is still not clear, I will read the question for you.
Yes. Yeah, please read the question for me.
Okay. Good morning and thank you for the very insightful talks from all speakers. My name is Albertus and I am an alumni from Strada Viatasana Junior High School. I am personally intrigued by the notion of creating a multicultural environment for schools, and I think it's really important to emphasize on tolerance and diversity since the beginning of their early childhood. I guess my questions would be, how should school prepare and tackle the growing polarization among cultures in this internet and information era? So how would a school build culture and prepare school culture in this internet and information era. So that is the point of the question, Father JOJO.
Yeah, I think
Since we know,
one of the most important thing is
sorry. Yeah, he added that
since we know the development of
the
radicalism.
development. Yes, okay. Thank you, Father JOJO. Yeah. You may share your
radicalism
opinion,
and
Father
religious
JOJO.
intolerance. Yeah. Yeah. So you were right, because of this digital era. So there is a lot of extremist videos, no? So that we cannot stop. Huh? That's part of the digital era that we have to contend with, no? Ini memang ini reality kita ya dalam era digital ini, no? But I do feel that each school, each principal, and each teacher has to make a decision, preferably collectively as a school, together with the staff. We call it collegial decision, no? Yaitu keputusan secara kolegial or collective decision. That we need to really teach our children to celebrate, the different cultures, but more than that, to be truthfully communicating to the students the meaning of the different symbols of the different cultures, supaya mereka memahami apakah makna dalam simbol itu. It can be a simple as the hijab. The hijab has become a symbol of contention. So I think there are misunderstanding, misperception. So there is what we call social preparation. Itu istilah yang disampaikan oleh Pater Albert Alejo. There must be a process of education of the students, including ourselves within the school, as a principal and teacher. What do we understand by this symbol? And then to communicate the meaning as truthfully as possible. So kalau kita menghargai kejujuran, then if we are truthful and we practice the inclusiveness of using hijab in our school culture, then I think slowly we can overcome the extremism, the fake news about the different cultures. So I think the school would be the first location to communicate, to transmit the truthfulness of the different symbols in the different religions and cultures. So I really pray and I encourage our schools to collectively becomes the what we call the symbolic media, the symbolic media of communicating truthfulness. So sekarang kita bisa berbanding antara Presiden Biden dan Presiden Trump. So one is a communication of truthfulness melalui teladannya sendiri. And then kalau perbandingan dengan kepemimpinan bekas Presiden Trump, it is really very different. One is based on lies, and then one is based on truthfulness, honesty, integrity. So saya juga harap bahwa tiap-tiap guru besar yang berada dan guru-guru yang berada collectively menjadi simbol yang kolektif, atau collegial symbol of truthfulness, of the meaning of the different cultural symbols in our different cultures in Indonesia. So please do that, because I think in Asia, our culture is so rich, but it is so wrongly politicized or religionized, disalahgunakan untuk political end, political means. So I think the school has to be a different medium, a different medium in this. So I hope you can record your messages, using TikTok or Facebook or live video. And I think it is very important for the Guru Besar, every celebration, whether it be cultural or whether it be religious, to communicate a message, melalui live video or Facebook or TikTok. Please do that, so that this can be uploaded and bisa disampaikan kepada tiap-tiap pelajar dan teman-teman belajar juga. So melalui video itu mereka bisa menontonnya dan juga menerima pesan yang disampaikan Anda sebagai guru besar. No? Yeah. So thank you.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Yeah.
Thank you, Pak Jojo.
Okay, since the connection is quite good, Sir Ega, you may continue your job.
Okay. Very well. Very so much. Thank you to Miss Ayu who replaced me.
Yeah, Mr. Ega, don't forget to say thank you to Mr. Albertus because he already sent the questions from Australia.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
okay.
Sebenarnya dari Australia, tapi dia seorang Indonesia ya.
Yeah, he continued the education in there, Father Jojo.
Okay, thank you so much to Mr. Albert. Okay, so the next question, Father. Okay, it is from Pak Fajar, Bapak Fajar from Strada.
Ya, Bapak Fajar, ya.
Yeah, from Strada Bakti Viatra, Bekasi. Okay, and his question is, many schools have an ecological school culture, a clean school. Unfortunately, it's only limited in the school. When the students return to the society, the ecological culture is less visible in society. How do you respond it, Pater?
Yeah, that's why I am trying to advocate now that it is changing school culture for a changing society. One, if you form the students well, the students become your symbol of change in a society. Tapi dalam perbolaannya, you have to become the symbol, no? As a principal, and sebagai guru-guru yang berada di sekolah itu, you have to become that symbol, ya. So symbol itu ialah kalian, no? This is the greatest challenge, and this is for us dalam gereja Katolik ini musim prapaskah, no? Di mana pertobatan itu ialah satu panggilan, no? Daripada Tuhan, no? So apakah pertobatan itu we become the message, the message is me. So I feel that the first thing is we become the message. We become the medium. No?
I'm sorry, Father.
If I live the message, then I become the medium. My life communicates that. So, in the neighborhood, through the society outside. No? So I think that there is hope. Yeah, there's hope to bring about change in the school so that we can contribute to the change in society. So I think every student is important because they are young persons, they're young people in our society. So every young person that we educate in our school counts, no? Important to us, yeah. So if you can educate a child, a student, then we hope that that child, that student, when he grows up, when she grows up, will become the change in society. No? Ini adalah harapan kita, no? sebagai sekolah, sebagai perkumpulan Strada. No? Our hope is in the younger generation. No? So we invest, no? We invest our time to educate, to form the young from the heart. That's why the forming of conscience is important, so that they become the symbol, they become the message of change in our society. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Father Jojo. Wait, because there are so many questions. And there are some questions that are same with the previous question. I need to find the different question first for a while. I think I found one. Okay, this is from Mr. Lego, or Lego. I am sorry if I mispronounce. Lego Sumakna. What strategic steps can we take during this pandemic period in effort to shape the values of living culture and reduce the negative effect of the death culture in the digital era? That is that clear enough, Dr. Jojo?
Could you repeat that question for me?
Okay. What strategic steps can we take during this pandemic period in an effort to shape the values of living culture and reduce the negative effect of the death culture in the digital era?
Yes, I would encourage, the different practices, hygienic practices, to be recorded, So sila merakamkan, dengan contohnya yang dilakukan oleh para guru. So sila rakamkan itu sebagai live video and ini di-uploaded, and disampaikan kepada kita banyak pelajar, So make good use of the digital technology untuk merakamkan praktis yang bagus, yang sehat supaya kita mengaruhi mentality para murid, para pelajar kita. So please upload as many messages, and then you can act out the messages that is already been advertised. So please do that so that at least the students can see that you and the teachers are not just playing out, but also you are doing that. You're practicing that. Also show where in the schools that you need to sanitize your hands, where in the school you can wash your hands, where in the school you need to social distancing. So all this can be dramatized. Then it can be recorded, it can be uploaded. So ini semua setahu saya sudah dipraktikkan di sekolah-sekolah kita. But please melakonnya and then upload lah semua video-video. Okay, terima kasih.
Okay, Father. And this is a question from a student of Strada Bhaktiviata Senior High School. Okay. My name is Ruth Nila from Strada Bhaktiviata Senior High School. I have some questions for Dr. Jojo. So to become a leader, we need to make constructive changes. Every country maybe have a bad culture or tradition. As a potential leader, do you think we need to change that culture? But maybe it is a hereditary thing and difficult to be changed. But on the other hand, the culture is not good and needs to be changed. What do you think?
What? I didn't hear the last part of your question.
Okay. Let me repeat. Okay. Maybe we can found some culture that is fresh with the goodness or something. Maybe it's not a good culture, a good thing to do, but it is the heredity and it is become the culture in some place. What is your opinion about that? Should we change it or let it go?
For those of us who are trained as anthropologists, to interview people, so your sample of interviewing people must be quite big. Sekurang-kurangnya 50 orang, maksimumnya 100 begitu. So you try and survey, to see what is people's understanding about that practice that is not good, and then what are the meanings that are being conveyed by this practice that is not so good, and then collectively you have to debate
Okay. Okay, Pater, you are stop moving there. Yeah, maybe you get problem also with the connection. Okay, we will with Pater JOJO to rejoin us. And for the participants, I am sorry to say to you that now there is something happens that make Pater Albert cannot rejoin us. So we will keep your question and we will send your question to him by email. So if you have any question for Pater Albert, you may just keep it or write it down in the chat box and we will send it to him by email. I am sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, Pater JOJO, you are in now or you are still somewhere? Okay, not yet. Okay. Miss Ayu, can you hear my voice clearly? Okay.
Mr. Ega, information
Yes.
from the committee, we are still waiting for Father JOJO. So
Okay, we are
just
still waiting. Okay.
keep being patient.
Okay, but Miss Ayu, while waiting Pater JOJO, let me ask you a little question. I want to know actually about your opinion. What is your opinion about this seminar like this? Actually, for
Okay.
Strada Association.
Yeah, okay, thank you for the question. As we already know, if you are joining us from the beginning of the seminar, Father Bay already told us that all leaders comes from school. So I think that it's quite important. This topic is quite important since we have to build good school cultures so we can have good routine, good habits, and then the students can be the leaders. That is my opinion.
Okay, so it will be good. In your opinion, it will be good if Strada Association make a international seminar like this again. Maybe
Of course, why
periodically.
not? So this
Okay.
one is such kind of new experiences, new knowledge, new information, and I
Exactly.
think that this one is having more positive sides than the negative one. So we have to continue doing this.
Okay. Okay, let us check. Pater JOJO. Okay, Pater JOJO still try to rejoin. We still have to wait, Pater JOJO. And again to the participants, if you have any question and want to ask the Pater JOJO, you may write down your question in the chat box so we can choose. But please, maybe you can pay attention to the other question that may be the same question with yours. So if the question is the same, I think you needn't to write down your question, but you can please just pay attention to the answer. I am sorry that I am really sorry that maybe I cannot read all the question, maybe because the question are the same actually, or maybe because the limit time we have. So, but don't worry, if we cannot share your question here now, or Pater JOJO cannot answer your question here now, we will share your question to him by email. or maybe you want to send him email directly by yourself. It's also good. But I think it is also good if you read the book that is Shaping School Culture, with written by Terence. That is our basic material that is taken from that book. Oh, it's close. Okay. Okay. Nice song.
Sorry.
Okay,
minta maaf
Partner
ya.
Jojo, it's okay. You are here. You are back now. So for the last question, am I need to read one more chance, or you got the point?
I just joined you, so I don't know what's your question.
Okay, so okay. Let me repeat the question. My name is Rutnila from Strada Bhaktiviata Senior High School. Wait. I have some question for Pater Jojo. So to become a leader, we need to make constructive changes. Every country maybe have a bad culture or tradition. As a potential leader, do you think we need to change that culture? But maybe it is an heredity things and difficult to be changed. But in the other hand, the culture is not good enough and need to be changed. So what is your opinion?
One is in terms of natural science, no, in terms of social science. Trained in anthropology, myself and Pater Albert Alejo. The first thing you need to do is you need to do a survey, interview. No, a simple survey is about person. A more reliable survey is about 100%. No, so you can talk to different levels of society. Talk to those who are parents, who are elders. Talk to the younger parents and talk to young people. You can find out what's the meaning underlying this so-called not so good practice. So look at the world of meanings. Look at that. The world of meaning, the world of practices, the world of values. Look at that. Because if you don't do that kind of conversation, that kind of interview, you don't know what is deep culture. Then collectively, you have to discuss. People who are multifocal in terms of symbolic leaders, you discuss together what are the good values that we need to communicate, to transmit in terms of a much more good practice, no? A good practice. Many of us, if you are multifocal, you get a good sense what is not helping the school, what is not helping the community to grow. No? That's why you call it, this is not a good practice. But you need to really examine it, no? And you need to discuss together. You need to ask the question, what are the set of meaning and values that we need to communicate in terms of changing the practice? If you change the practice, what is that good practice you want to introduce? So you want to take it out because it's not so good. So what is the new practice you want to introduce? What are the values underneath or behind this new practice you want to introduce? So the values, the meaning of the new practice or the good practice, you have to know. Then there is a period of communication. No? That period is called social preparation by Dr. Albert Alejo. So once you've done that, then slowly you introduce a new practice. So with a new practice, slowly work to overcome the not so good practice. So one will replace the other over time. That's that you can do. Yeah, I'm very sure.
Okay. Okay. Pater, actually, there was the last question that we want to share directly here. Maybe there are some questions that will be shared by email later. We hope that you want to answer that after this later. Okay. For the participant, Pater Jojo and Pater Albert, Alejo are poets, and so am I. Maybe later, Strada Association also facilitate us, Pater, to make an anthology, for example. Okay. Okay, one more time. Verba docent exempla trahun. Okay, words teach us, but example makes the changing. Okay, thank you for all the attention. Thanks for joining us in this seminar.
Yes.
And we are really sorry for many inconvenience that have done. Okay, Miss Ayu.
Yeah, I'm
I
here.
give back the seminar to you.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Ega, who has been our moderator that leads the discussion. So yeah, it ran quite well. Okay, thank you for the speakers, Pater Albert, and thank you, Pater Jojo. You are joining till the end of the event. Thank you for the sharing and thank you for the discussion. Okay, now I want to invite Father Odemus Bey to give comments towards our seminar today. Okay, since Father Bey is here, so okay, wait a minute. Father Bey, please.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ayu. Thank you for all participants and also especially for Father Jojo and Father Albert, my friends in Philippines at the time.
Yes.
Their participation on this occasion, I would like to say to special thank you for Father Jojo and Father Albert Alejo. In this context, this seminar, we not only see a cultural framework, but also how to make a dialogue into school life. Father Jojo Fung and Father Albert Alejo provide a paradigm regarding a culture that can inspire our dynamics in the school environment. Thanks also to be to God. Finally, this seminar can go well. We believe that Indonesia, which has a cultural diversity and complex, become the strength or energy for us to develop our schools. Thank you also to all participants who have faithfully attended this seminar until the end. I'm so sorry, because this seminar have a problem, especially for the technically connection of internet, and also many questions cannot answer because our limited of time. And anyway, we can still say success for all us should to practice our activities in our school based on our culture. Thank you for all. That's all. Selamat semuanya. Tuhan memberkati. Bless God for you all. Thank you.
Tuhan memberkati.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Father Odemus Bey. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now very close to the end of the event. So before the seminar is ended, I would like to announce that first, 10 lucky participants of this seminar will get the Shaping School Culture book, and it will be informed through your email. So it will be given random. So please, after this, check your email whether you whether you get any notification or not. Okay, then the second, the 6th series of Strada seminar will be held on Saturday, 20 February 2021 with the theme Educational Culture for Building Excellent School Traditions, or in bahasa it is Budaya Pendidikan untuk Membangun Tradisi Sekolah Unggul. And the last, for participants, please fill the evaluation form on the link given in the chat box, and it is to get the e-certificate. So after you fill the evaluation form, you are going to have your e-certificate in your email. Okay, before we end our seminar with a prayer, let's greet and say thank you to the international seminar participants who are coming from Yogyakarta. Okay, Yogya, hello Yogya. And then Thailand, we have participant from Thailand. And then we also have a sister that comes from Germany. Hello, Germany.
Wow.
And then we also have Mr. Albertus from Australia. And
Whoa.
still many places that we cannot mention one by one. Okay, thank you for participating and thank you for being here together with us, learning something new. Okay, we would like to apologize also for the inconvenience during the session because of the internet connection was unstable. I'm sorry, but I hope that we can still get the point of this seminar, learning something new, then we are able to be improvement maker in our school. Amen. Okay. Fathers, sisters, ladies, and gentlemen, all respected international seminar participants, let's close our seminar with a prayer. Once again, the prayer will be done in Catholic. For those who have another beliefs, please support in your own way. To Mr. Adlian, please lead the prayer.
Thank you, Miss Ayu. Oke, Bapak Ibu, Fathers Odemus Belitono, Father Albert, Father JOJO FUNG, Jesuit Unions, sisters, brothers, and ladies and gentlemen, let's prepare our heart and mind to close and to contemplate our international seminar of Strada Association. Let's pray. In the name of Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Good morning, Jesus. We really thank you for all the things that you have given to us. Thank you for the blessing, the guidance, and the protections for the International Seminar of Strada Associations during the pandemic of COVID-19 outbreak. Thank you for the cultural insight this morning that was given by Father Albert, Alejo, and Father JOJO FUNG, Jesuit Unions. Hopefully, we can take the value and understanding the new knowledge to make Strada associations and other schools who follow the seminar become more advanced and develop in the future later. Especially for Strada associations, which is visions and missions. So please help us not only understand the knowledge, but implement that cultural insight into Strada associations. God, our praying will be completed with the praying that you have taught to us. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdoms come, thy will be done on earth as in the heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptations, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Elian. Once again, for the participants, please fill in the evaluation form that is given in the link, in the chat box. So it is to get the e-certificate for this seminar. Okay, so that is the international seminar of Strada Association. Fathers, brothers, sisters, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to say goodbye. Yeah, once again, thank you, Father JOJO Fung. You are joining us till the end of the event. Okay, once again, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the participants. Thank you for the attention. Thank you for participating, and see you again in another Strada's event. So tomorrow, don't forget, we have still a seminar. So please join again. We will meet again tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. Good morning and God bless you.
Thank you, Pater Jojo.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Pater Jojo, matur nuwun.
Sugeng siang.
Sugeng siang.
Matur suwun sedaya.
Oke, teman-teman panitia, terima kasih. Sesaat lagi kita akan matikan karena kita akan mengistirahatkan jaringan untuk persiapan misa. Terima kasih.
Father Jojo, are you still there? No?
No.
Okay. Oh, udah nggak ada.
Finally, we may speak Indonesian or Japanese now. Can we speak it?
Yeah, it's free.
I'm just afraid that when I come back to my unit, I forget how to speak in Indonesian.
Ya, terima kasih Bapak Ibu setia sampai jam 11 lebih.
Terima kasih.